You want to fight crime? Let's get dangerous.
Oh, I guess I forgot to add myself, but now I'm here. Welcome to another edition of From Deso Small Press Publisher. This one is going to be one for the decades here. We already see that Aaron's in the house here, so we're going to say hello to him. Welcome on in, Aaron. Glad that you're here on the chat. Well, I won't say that here. I won't say that here. And yep. I will explain the topic here once we get past the new comic book pickups of the week here, because you will understand why the topic is the topic at hand more so than anything else here. So no, I'm not quitting collecting comics, but it's a different aspect that I have to try to take on here. But you understand once we go through the new comic book pickups here. So on that note here, let's go ahead and get things rolling, because people are asking the questions like, oh, you can't give up collecting comics to them. It's like, it's not about that. It's about something else here. But nevertheless, Stupid O'Clock still happen 1 hour into our show. When we get into our second hour, that's if we go into a second hour here, that is then followed up by Last Man Standing at 1 a.m. And then you get a little bit of respite until Monday morning. We have Nicholas Tucker and Nevermind the Furthermore. And let's not forget about Comic Book Spectrum. That still happens right here at 7 p.m. Central, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time here. We're still talking about comic books, movies, a little bit of everything. But that's not why some of you are here. I know some of you are up here. It's like, you can't give up collecting. It's like, no, that's not what I'm saying. But let's get to the nitty gritty. We got a lot of comics to go through today. A lot. I mean, a lot. So here it is. New comic book pickups for the week here. We are going to start off with, and I got to make certain that I'm ready to do what I need to do here. So we want to start off with Marvel Features, Volume 2. And we got the full run of Marvel Features Volume 2. We got Issue 1. And by the way, for those who don't know about Marvel Features, this is the Red Sonja volume before she actually got her solo series. Issue 3. Issue 4. And then I got them backwards. Issue 5. Issue 6. And issue 7, which means that it is officially completed. So that's another title completed here. I'm just trying to put it back. Well, actually, I'm not going to put it back in the bag. I'm trying to get things boxed up and everything to take over to storage as well. Then we also have Angel and the Ape, Volume 3, starting with issue number 1, issue 2, issue 3, and issue number 4, which means that now that is also a complete volume. Yep, that was that. Yep, on the Marvel features, that is correct. Then we got Superior Spider-Man, Volume 1, issues number 7 and issue number 10, which now means that Superior Spider-Man Volume 1 is now officially completed. And then from Volume 2, we got issue 4, issue 5, issue 6, issue 7. From Volume 2 of Checkmate, we have issue number 27, which means that now Volume 2 of Checkmate is now complete. Now, and we also have an extra copy of Captain America number 19 from Volume 6. This is a extra copy, but as you could say, the theme of tonight's topic here, Volume 6 of Captain America is now completed. We have the Demon issue number 7 and number 14. There's still 2 more issues for Demon Volume 1 before I can say that is completed. But we're getting close to that here. We got Heroes for Hire from Volume 1, issue number 8 and issue number 15, which is pretty nice here. Make it a little bit easier for me. Oh, there's the Sunstriders. They're here. So everybody's greeting one another. So we got those going on here. Throw those into the box here. We got Aeon Flux issue number 4. I believe I still have a few more issues coming in where Aeon Flux is about to be completed, but until we have it in hand, I can't do the completion territory. Same thing with here with the Howard Chaykin Challengers of the Unknown. I believe this is Volume 3. And I only have the first 2 right here. So that's an issue 1 and there's an issue 2. I know I have others. And we're nowhere close to completing Volume 1 of Mighty Thor. That's also one of the series that I'm not even thinking about completing. Not a big Thor fan. We did get Amazing Adventures 1 only because it is a X-Men number 1 reprint. We did get Laugh 229 only because of the Big Ethel cover here. And I will need to check in storage here because if I have a issue number 3, I will have all of Identity Crisis here. So here, just to show you what came in, is an issue 1, issue 2, issue 3, issue 5. No, I'll take that back. That was issue 4. Issue 5. I was missing issue 3. Issue 6. And issue number 7. Then I need to check storage again because I believe if I have Marvel Divas issue 1, that would mean that I just completed that series here, which is issue here. I have issue 3 and issue 4 for you guys to see it. There's 3 and 4. There's a Black Canary number 1. And then we have Miss Mystic issue number 2 from Volume 3, which means that Miss Mystic Volume 3 is now officially completed. And there we go. Let's say, did we freeze? I don't think so here. Then we got Miss Marvel 23 from Volume 4, and with having Miss Marvel 23 from Volume 4, it is now officially completed. And then with these two with Marvel Beyond the Limit, which is issue 1 and issue 2, that series is also completed. And then after buying a semi-complete set a couple weeks earlier, and I showed you guys here, we finally got the missing one, issue number 12 of Codename Knockout. So now Codename Knockout is 100% completed. And for those who've been keeping a scorecard, everybody knows I was looking for the Icons version of Tigra here. We finally got a issue number 1, and you know what that means? That one's completed too. And then those who know how I've been on the hunt, who've been following me for quite some time, who have been shaking an angry fist at some of our comic book vendor friends, I finally done it. It's done. The deed is done. DC Bombshells, number 20, 27, 29, and 32, which means that DC Comics Bombshells is now officially completed. That falls into 2 issues of Dazzler. This is the 3rd volume of Dazzler. We finally got an issue 2 and an issue 3, which means that now that run is officially completed. We got another copy of Inferior 5 number 1. That might I might think about sending one of my copies of Inferior 5 number 1 to get graded. So we're going to set that to the side here. Unbeatable Squirrel Girl number 7 from volume 1. You know what that means? Volume 1 of Unbeatable Squirrel Girl is now officially completed. And there's still more. There's still more. We haven't even touched everything as of yet. This is from volume 2 of Challengers of the Unknown here. That was issue number 7, by the way. Let me bring it back up. That's issue number 7 from volume 2. This is, I forgot, this is one of these specialized reprints of Wonder Woman number 1. I forgot the actual variant this is, but it's neither here nor there for right now. We got Squadron Supreme number 1. This is an extra copy of it. And we're not going to play the theme song because I already told you guys I already completed the Squadron Supreme for this one as well. So that's not a brand new book, and that series has been that wasn't, was already completed here. We got a Jughead 110 that came in. We got a Falcon number 1 that came in. For those who've been following me on Comic Book Spectrum, I'm going to keep these books out because I started reviewing this series, and now I could finish it. We finally got Fire and Ice, When Hell Freezes Over. Remember, I already did the first 2 issues of Fire and Ice here, but now I got issue 3, 4, 5, and the last issue number 6, which completes this run here. So now it is officially completed. Then, for those who want to be in the know, we got Who's Who 87. We got issue 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, which completes this volume of Who's Who. So again, another ironic twist here. I bought it. I didn't realize it was that short of a set here, but we got Tales of the Green Hornet, Volume 1, which is only 2 issues. I thought it was more, but it was only 2 issues. And that completes that run, which is kind of like bittersweet. And then we had Robotech Invasion. So those who know, back in the day, I did follow this series kind of religiously here, but I fell off, when it kept jumping from publisher to publisher. But now I have the full run of Robotech Invasion. That was issue 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. So the full run of Robotech Invasion and completed. Now I'm going to flip over this other stack because we got stacks upon stacks upon stacks upon books that I got to take over to storage. And we're going to start off with a very, 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 very minty copy of The Bionic Woman from the 1960 series here. It cost me a pretty penny, but I finally got one. So that's going to go into the possibly get it graded pile. Then we got, I'm not certain if I'm going to put this up for sale or not, but we got a Captain Marvel number 5. I do have a few Captain Marvels, but that's neither here nor there. I still got to figure out how much MCP I have on hand. I know I got a boatload of them because the person who bequeathed me their collection out of high school, he was a big Wolverine fan and collected all the MCPs for him. So I have to see what that is about here. But this next little stack here, this next little thing, let's just say I'm getting closer and closer of completing it. And completing a run that is, I would say, that is up there with trying to complete, up there to completing such things such as like the Uncanny X-Men, from Volume 1, or for like Wonder Woman Volume 1. We got a big old stack of Barbie Fashion, starting from issue 1 through 30. So 1, 2, 3, 4, and this without missing an issue. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. I don't know why Key Collector has that as a key. I don't know why. That was one of the ones that they said was a key. Nazi was saying is 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21. No, that wasn't this one. It was another one that Key Collector is saying that was a key issue, but 22, 23, 24, the landmark 25th issue for Barbie Fashion, 26, 27, 28, 29, and 30. And there we have it. A nice little stack of Barbie Fashion, the first 30 issues here. One of the harder series to collect here. We got a small little run of Invincible Iron Man from where Bendis had taken over for the Civil War. So this is Invincible Iron Man 11, 12, 13, and 14. But we also have infamous Iron Man, the full run. So that's issue 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and the final issue of number 12, which means it is complete. And we got another mini series to deal with here. I actually thought this was going to be as big as the first mini that they did recently here, which is Shayna the She-Devil Survival of the Fittest, issue number 1, 2, 3, and 4, which is officially a completed run. Therefore, and then we got the 2021 Fantastic Four calendar. Big whoop-de-doo. Good for artwork. And I forgot which Red Sonja book this is. I can't remember off the top of my head, but this is a Red Sonja. I don't have time to take a look at COZ to figure out what it is, but just know it's a Red Sonja book. Nonetheless, here. With this here, I'm getting closer to having a complete run of Film Force up close. The only 2 issues that I'm missing, I believe, would be issue 1 and issue number 6. So here's issue number 2, 3, 4, 5, 7, 9, 10, and 11. So if I ever come across 1 and 6, that will complete the run, and we'll play the nice little music here. We got another copy of Hulk volume issue number 7. That is the Mary Jane variant. I might end up getting one of them graded here. We got X-Men 64. No fanfare for that because I already told you guys I already have that one done, completed. Same thing with this volume of Catwoman here. We got the variant of 24 and 33. No big fanfare for that because why? We already completed it. We got a Spawn 15, which again, I do have some early spawns. I still have to make up my mind if I want to sell my early spawns or not. Probably not. Like I said, some of the things that I get bequeathed or, bequeathed to me and just be like, it's just, I try to keep it here. Another copy of Tribe number 1. I don't know why I'm getting so many of these Tribe number 1s here. For a book, for one of those few books that claims that they sold over 1 million copies. I don't know why so many of them are in the dollar bin, but it is what it is. Then we got another copy of the Wonder Woman 84. Just for the sake of it, this is the one that everybody was, the controversial cover that nobody liked. So it is what it is. But yet there is still more. There's still more books. Yes, there's more books. We haven't even touched the limit as of yet. We got some Razors that came in. So this is Razor issue number 5, issue 13 from the Uncut. I believe that's volume 1. Volume 1 was Uncut. 15, 18, 22, 34, and this is 39, 42, and 48. And then we have the Razor and the Morbid Angel team up. Razor and Dark Angel, the final nail. This is issue 2 of, I believe it's like a 4-issue miniseries. So we got all those Razors. We ended up getting a Lois Lane 116. This is an extra copy of that. And then we got another extra copy of Spider-Woman 13. No fanfare for this because you guys already know I already completed that volume. Then we got Batwoman number 12. I know I have hit or miss issues of Batwoman, but then again, I don't really collect it. We got Marauder 17. Again, that's another series that I got Storm covers for that, but it is what it is. Black Cat number 5. There it is in the bigger sense of things here, but it is what it is. And then at first I was like thrilled over the moon, but in another weird sense, I'm kind of kicking myself in the rear. I'm trying to complete Liberty Metals. It was a series that one of my buddies back in college got me into towards the tail end of me starting my X-Men Volume 1 run. And I was able to finish that up. And, I'm coming back to some of the books that I read while over his house. So I finally found issue number 1 and got it. But I'm kicking myself because this is 4th print. I really want to get a 1st print, but this is a 4th printing of issue number 1. But it is what it is for right now. I'm not going to be upset about it here. And some of these are 2nd prints as well. So we got Liberty Metals issue number 4. I can't tell you which ones are not 1st prints or not because I don't have my CLZ on hand in front of me. So we just go ahead and just deal with the issues. 8. This is issue 10. Issue 12. Issue 16. Issue 26. And 29. So we're getting those up and going and almost to the point where we got it under control here. We're going to do that a little bit later here. I finally found a copy of this. For those who know, I've been trying to track down a lot of the AXA books. So I finally found one of the rarer printings here. This is the 7th issue of AXA through First American Edition series here. This is through, I forgot what publisher this was through. I forgot the name of a publisher, but this is the publisher that actually brought all of the actual issues from overseas and put them in volumes like this here. While I have the other 2 issues where they finally went into color, I already got those 2 issues here. I was thinking about getting those graded as well, but now I have this here. So now I got to track down, I believe it's the other 7 or 8 issues of AXA that looks like this here. So that is money well spent. And I refuse to go back to the Kickstarter because I feel like the Kickstarter costs too much money now to try to invest in those issues because they're trying to bring back AXA as a whole here. We got another copy of issue 0 of Planet Death. I don't know how many multiple copies of this, but it is what it is here. For those who were watching Comic Book Spectrum this week, I already teased that one because I was teasing Elaine with it because I finally got a copy of first appearance of Bellet through Conan. Because we were talking about different things and everything here. So yeah, we got the first Bellet in Conan. So that goes into the box. We got one of the variants that I didn't have of the variants, which is a small, I believe it was like a 5 to 6 issue run of Jessica Jones story, talking about all the different personas that she actually played and how throughout the multiverse that they kind of play a factor and came back and was just kind of messing with what she was doing in modern day times here. It was a somewhat decent read for a series, but you guys already know that I already had a complete run of it, so it doesn't get the fanfare. We ended up getting a variant copy of Catwoman 80th anniversary, because I haven't seen this one before, but I do have another copy. I had the standard copy of it. I did not see this one before, so when I saw it, I was like, oh, let me go ahead and get it. And then I realized it was the same 80th anniversary issue, so it is what it is here. Now, the book that I put to the side here that said I would get to it later, this was the one that I was like, oh, when I saw it, I was like, yeah, we got to get it here. This is the Catwoman movie and other cat tales here. This was a specialized, as Aaron would say, a pretty much a thickie here. This is the adaptation to the very, very poor Catwoman movie, but it also had other stories dealing with Catwoman in here. And it is very minty. So it was a nice little pickup here as a whole. We got a Spider Boy annual #1. That's like, yay, speculation book. Boo. This one, I have no idea what to expect, but it was a free book here. It's called This Ends Tonight, so I have no idea what to expect with that. Another one that I don't know if I'm just going to be like, yeah, let's get rid of it or just hold on to it. There's a Wolverine Deadpool. It was a free book, so I'm not even going to worry about it. It's the Deadpool Wolverine #1. I'm kind of like, meh. But now we're getting closer and closer to having a full run of this one too, which is Whisper. At least with volume 1, that is. So there's Whisper #1 from volume 1. Issue #5 from volume 1 and issue #6 from volume 1. Oh, that was Rogue. That was a whole nother thing. But there you go. Those are the 3 Whispers that came into play. And then we have some more Rogue issues from volume 3. Yeah, volume 3. So Rogue issue #2, issue #4, and another copy of issue #5. So we got all of those here. And yes, there are still more books. We are not done yet. We're not close to being done. So now we got some X Factor books. Because why? Because I'm going to try to complete X Factor volume 1. At least get close to it. We got X Factor 40, 41. If I could have some manual dexterity, 42, 43, 44, 45, 46, 47, 48, 49, and then we go to 94, 95, 96, 97, 101, 102, 103, 104, and 105. So we got all of those X Factors that came in. And then I'm going to give the fanfare. I'm going to give the fanfare on this one only because I know people did not realize I had them already. But we got all of Faith volume 1, which is issue #2 that we have represented here in issue #3 and issue #4. So volume 1 completed. And then we also got Faith volume 2, starting with issue #2, 3, 6, 7, 8, 10, 11, and 12. So that means that is completed. And what's weird about it is like with these issues coming in, because I completed it earlier, but I could almost make 2 full sets of it. And then we have the New Adventures of Archer and Armstrong, issue #5, which also have Faith up in it. So, now we get to see, the whole thing about, I forgot which one of them that she was in love with, but it was just kind of like one of those types of things here. And then we got your standard, typical, prototypical. Hey, Joe, isn't this like your 8th copy of this? Probably so. It is a Sensational She-Hulk #1. I'm still looking for a 9/8 copy of it. And then we also got another Red Sonja #1 from the original Marvel series. And then let's get into some Daredevil. Yeah, people might know it as Daredevil, but I called it Dared Evil because he dared evil. But here we go. We got, I believe that this is first Elektra, I believe. And then Death of Elektra, which is 181. First Typhoid Mary, and a better, it needs to be clean and pressed. There's a few ticks, but at least I see this as somewhere about like a 9.0 to about like a 9.4 copy of that. And then we got another one where the first Bingle, and then towards the end, another copy of 260. I know I have a whole bunch of 260s, and I have a whole bunch of 260s. This is, I think, my second first Typhoid Mary. So that's the only reason why I got it here. And I know I had another copy of this somewhere around with the death of Elektra, but this is the first time that I had this one. So it's nice to have those types of moments nonetheless here. So we got from volume 3 of Heroes for Hire, issue number 3, 8, 9, and 11. And then we got Sisterhood of Steel #1. And Red Sonja versus Tulsa Doom #1. This is not the full set here. That's only the first issue. So, and yet there are still more books here. And to think, we spent a little bit over a half an hour already, and we still haven't got through all the books. Vengeance of Vampirella #5 came in during this week. Getting closer and closer to having the full Harris run of Vengeance of Vampirella. We got some more kitchen sink. We got some more kitchen sink versions of the Spirit here. Getting closer and closer to having that. That also reminds me, I did not get a chance to update the graphics here for the collector's update, but we just going to wing it here. But we got issue #5 now, issue 15, 18, 20, 22, 23, 24, and 47. And yet there is still more books. Now I can see behind me again because it was stacked at least to about like that high behind me here. Count them. 2 sets of the limited series of Cloak and Dagger. This is the 4-issue mini. We got 2 sets of it. So we're going to start off with issue #1, direct newsstand. Direct #2, newsstand. I'm making sure that people see that it was a newsstand. Direct newsstand. However, issue #4 is not newsstand. Both of these are direct. But they got 2 sets of that, which means that that is now officially completed. And then we got the first 6 issues of the short-lived ongoing series, which is issue #1, issue 2, issue 3, issue 4, issue 5, and issue #6. And last but not least, and far from it being overkill, the last book of the new pickups for the week is a slab, and it is a slab that I've been wanting to actually use one of the books that I have in my collection, but I was able to get this one for the low price of $25 before shipping. So it cost me like 43 after shipping here. And that said book is a 9.6 version of Catwoman Volume 3, issue number 1. So that is the last book of new comic book pickups for the week here. That's a lot. But I also know there's a lot of comments that I have to go through here because there was just too many books to be like stop, start, stop, stop, start, stop, start. You know, so we're going to pick it up here where people were saying continuity comics because that was the last one that I actually remember reading before I stopped paying attention to the chat because we was dealing with Miss Mystic at the time. Everybody was saying yay, and then Love Dobson. Yep. Yeah, I was like, that's the whole thing about collecting. It's like get the full entire run for you can have the whole story for you can enjoy the whole thing. That's the beauty of it here. I bought all the books. Yeah, love the Falcon series when I was a kid. Wow. B says mini series need different victory too. Yeah, I have a second print and the image first. I believe I have the image first, but I still want a first print of that Liberty Metals. It's going to be hard to come by, and everybody seems to. It's like when you look it up on eBay and all these other places. They don't want to state which printing it is because when people find out that it is not a first printing, they try to, if they try to talk people down on the pricing here. Oh, but every other issue on yours is first printing. Yeah, no one gives a crap about Spider-Boy nowadays. Yeah, like I said, it's like one of those spec books that it's like, oh, they drew it in as a freebie. Boo. And then indies from the 80s talking about Film Force Up Close here. Ron is like say the line. And then Strong Guy when we got to the tail end of the X Factor that was picked up here. Then I have a lot of the 50 I have a lot of these at 50 cents here. Ooh, really? Daredevil. Dared evil. Exactly. He's not a daredevil. He dares evil. He dares evil to try to be evil against him. Okay. Okay. It's not the first one. It's not the first one here. Yeah. 11 is like, 11, 11 issues too late. Then what was that one? What was that one? Because that was a key issue. Was that the first time that they fought? Because again, her first appearance, they didn't do anything. She just appeared. But I believe that was the issue where they first fought. The first time that they fought, that Elektra and Daredevil fought. love that Cloak and Dagger. Yep. The second series went 11 issues. Yeah, so it's only five more to try to get to complete that one, and then we have the actual song and everything to go along with it here. Yeah, she was in the series from like one. And why is that listed as a key issue? That's the thing that I'm trying to think here, because that's not where she dies. There was some other significance there. Other than, that was it was a key issue because of who was drawing it. And it's like, if that's the case, it's like, yeah, I'd rather have story significance than anything else. Oh, because Dude Bros like the cover. Art significance. Boo. Bad play. But nevertheless, that was new comic book pickups for the week here. And as I stated before, we didn't get to update some of these cards here. So Film Force Up Close is not added to this here because I consider that a separate series. And because I consider it a separate series, it is not here. But like I said, I'm only missing issues 1 and 6 to complete that as a whole here. But we haven't seen anything beyond issue 108 on any of the goes into here. And then just like it's like Ultimate Hulk versus Wolverine, fantastic story, horrendous art. Okay, so nobody cares. But the story and the fight is like, but the story and the fight and everything is off. So yeah. And then we didn't get anything new for Ghost as of yet because again, finding those issues because it's an independent, a little bit harder to find. I did not update this here, but as you can see, we could cross out 5. We could cross out most of the ones in the 20s here, at least in the early 20s. We still would have, you know, a couple of later ones to deal with here. I'm still missing the 4 for the magazine, 16, 18, 19, and 30. So I'm going to be tracking those down. I'm still missing issue 0 from the New Adventures here. From the Dynamite run, I'm missing issues 2, 4, and 13 from the Origin years 3 through 10. So yeah, I'm getting close to having everything Spirit related, that which is cool. And then I thought I did Uncanny X-Men. Am I frozen? There we go. I thought I was frozen there for a second. Uncanny X-Men, I know from a source, nudge, nudge, wink, wink, that we have all volume 5 coming in. I just don't have it, but I know it was purchased. Nudge, nudge, wink, wink. Say no more, say no more. And then we're just missing all the recent stuff for Uncanny X-Men. Wonder Woman wise, I just haven't pulled the trigger to buy a 129 as of yet. And then those who have issues below 130, they're kind of being a pain in the rear end, and I just don't feel like always having to run to Metropolis to buy issues. So it's kind of like one of those types of deals here, but those numbers will go down eventually as I set money aside for it. You know, buying older issues when we get into like early Silver Age and Golden Age books, you got to be very, very careful. It is what it is here. And then with X-Men, you know, the X-Men series, the title X-Men series, I'm just taking my own sweet time to getting those done here. Which means that we've got to where we're going to talk about the topic here. So I know people came rushing in, primarily Aaron came rushing in, talking about you can't give up comic book collecting. That's not what I'm saying. The topic says what happens when collecting is done. Meaning, like you saw, I have maybe just in this run of books for new comic book pickups for the week, close to like 22 series completed. What do you do after that? Matter of fact, when you get through completing whatever run that you really love and behold and just, you know, keep it, you know, the ones that you keep near and dear to your heart, what do you do after you finish completing it? And it really depends on what type of collector that you are here. Like, for example, for me, when I complete a series such as let's take I'm looking at my list here. Let's take Codename Knockout. What I normally do with Codename Knockouts is I have the full run. It's like eventually I would sit down, read all of them, and I will put them up and store them. Now, does that mean that I stop collecting? No. But at that point, if I really wanted to be like, okay, I want to at least have like a 9.8 of issue number 1, I would start looking for the 9.8 of issue number 1. Not going out to look for I'm not going out on eBay to look for a slab, I normally go out to look for a raw because you could probably get the raw a little bit easier than trying to buy the slab. Even though once you find a 9.8 slab, if you got the money, you buy it, you're done and over with. But when you're so used to hunting and everything, you know, submitting it yourself or buying it as a slab doesn't matter anymore. But, you know, you start looking at, you know, if you really like the series, if you really want to have a well maintained and tailored series, that's when you start looking at, do I upgrade my copy that I have or not? Do I start putting my money elsewhere? In my case, it's like I start putting my money elsewhere. Like I said, I have my main series that I concentrate on, but you know, now I'm seeing myself going to all these different claim shows and everything and just be like, I'm kind of bored because I don't want to buy anything anymore. Not to say that I've stopped collecting. It's like, it's not much out there that I'm truly collecting that's in my collection that is like, I must have this before I could finish reading the story, or I have to have it to complete the run before I could at least have the run before I could finish off what I'm trying to do here. Such like with the where did I put it? I'll find it in a second here. Like with the Fire and Ice, I reviewed the first 2 issues here. I never got back to the series because I was waiting for getting, you know, issues 3 through 6 through the people who I actually get my pulls from. And, you know, I've been trying to keep up with paying everything. And once I have finished paying off everything, that's when they ship. So, you know I have this, that, and the other. And finally, some of it came in and we go through this, that, and the other here. You die a little inside and cry. Yeah, Belcherias Ghost made me drool. Yeah, you're in a kind of burn. I kind of figured it's like it just was weird, but it is what it is here. But that's what you kind of do, you know. It's not like you want to stop cold turkey because people. I hate to say it. Those comic book vendors, they eventually become your friends, and they appear like, hey, maybe you want to take a look at this. You know, this might be right up your alley, or this might be something that you might be interested in. And lo and behold, now you got a new series to collect here. But in my case, a lot of the stuff that I'm collecting now is like a lot of the older stuff. And some of the older stuff, it's like, I go like, meh. You know, it's like, what's the purpose of me trying to go back and collecting all of the Avengers or going back and collecting? Don't get upset. We're going back and collecting all the Fantastic Four. That, you know, Fantastic Four, I did what I wanted to do with Fantastic Four, which is I think I got every last issue that John Byrne did. I like John Byrne Fantastic Four. So I got all of those plus some. Now, do I have all the keys? No. Do I have a number 1? No. You know, I was a big fan of what he did, how he brought She-Hulk in, what happened with Malice and all the other nice little stuff that was done during that time frame. And then to see it end with the whole Blackout issue was just like, yeah, Marvel could have let John Byrne do a lot better leaving the Fantastic Four, but it is what it is here. Yeah, Byrne run. Yep. Get on my little scrub. Oh my goodness. I have to laugh with that one because, you know, if there was a true rivalry, I'd be like, oh, you really want to go there? And it's like, who has been helping you with your Wonder Woman? Just saying. Just saying. Get on your level, scrub. But no, she is the foremost authority on Fantastic Four. I will say that here. Yeah, it's the time to collect. though it's a buyer's market. I I won't say it's a buyer's market, because if it was truly a buyer's market, you would see more and more people being able to afford certain key issues, such as like Amazing Spider-Man 300 would be affordable. And when I say affordable, we're talking about under 500, because that's where it's supposed to be. You would see, books like Giant Size X-Men #1 being below 5 figures. Stuff to that magnitude. I mean, yeah, these books are old, but yet at the same time, they're still in abundance that people can still pick up one. So it's just not like that here. Oh, they brought Malice back. Did they do her right again? Yeah, as long as she could afford to spend it. Yeah, I agree. It is a buyer's market for filling gaps and holes like random issues of Deathlock, but all the keys are super overpriced. And that's the sentiment that I have here. It's like the reason why I have all of these different books for this new pickup for this week, because I've been hitting a lot of the 49-cent auctions, the 99-cent auctions. People been having claim sales like the Barbie fashion. People don't realize that Barbie and Barbie fashion is like two of the hardest modern comic book series to pick up now, because they were just that short printed, and it was kind of like one of those books that most people would throw away. So when I see people who's like, oh, I got like the first 30, give me $80 for it, but like, here, take my money. I got the first 30 issues of Barbie. Here, take my money. Because if you try to buy them individually, it would be way more than $80. We're talking about closer to like 200 or 300 easily. So it's like one of those types of things here. But yeah, it's a buyer's market for like Parallax said, for buying gaps and holes, unless that gap or hole is a key. If that gap or hole is a key, forget about it. It's like perfect example. I'm getting close to finishing off volume 1 of New Mutants. And it's going to get to the point where I won't be able to get a first printing of First Cable and First Deadpool, because they're priced out of my my price range. I refuse to pay $600 and $700 for a New Mutants 96. That's ridiculous. And then First Cable already got 2 copies of second printing of it. So it's like, yeah, I would like a first printing of it, but I got one. It is what it is. But it's not, to me, it's not even really a buyer's market in that aspect, because when I truly believe it in a buyer's market, that New Mutants 96 would be a lot less. It's like, it's like the price would be a lot less for it. But it is what it is. I haven't read it yet. I'm waiting for the storyline to end before reading it. Okay, cool. It's called Invisible Woman, starting in FF6. And when you say FF, we're still talking Fantastic Four, and the new Fantastic Four 6, and not Future Foundation. Yeah, I noticed that about filler issues. Might as well get that silver and bronze copper people. I won't even say that anymore, because people are wising up now. At least those who are comic book sellers are wising up for silver, bronze, and copper. More and more comic book sellers are pricing them properly. They want fair market value for silver, bronze, and copper. But if you could go out there and do like the 49 cents, the 99 cents, and the bronze books for $1 type deal, do it. If you're not ultimately searching, I must have something that is high grade, go ahead and do it. You won't be sad. You won't be sad. And then that way you can say, I got my completed run. I can sit here and read into my heart is content here. And you got, like I said, you got the Parallax seal of approval there. Yeah, I would rather buy random issues of Cap from Bronze than the random modern variant. And like I said, to each their own as far as they're collecting here, but that's one of the reasons why I don't like modern spec. Because with all these different variant covers and everything, there's no focus on story anymore. They could put crap inside the book. You ain't buying it because of the artwork. You're pretty much making your own poor man's art collection. And that's never cool. Okay, I will do that here. It's like I got 24, yeah, I got 24 books today for $80. Yep. Yeah, I'm so astonished. I got some astonishing tales with Deathlock and some Daredevils in the 130s. Nice. Beanie says next week you will have a beanie package to show. Yep, if we got a beanie package to show, we'll probably have new comic book pickups for the week plus the beanie box, plus a beanie box. Oh, that reminds me. I have a secret to keep from Beanie. I believe I have already told your mom what it is. But I'm just double checking really, 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 really quick. Because I think it's a done deal and I'm just waiting for it to arrive. Yep. Yep. I have a secret to keep from Beanie. Beanie box. No. I need to know. No, you don't. Just put it this way. It's going to be added to some of the books that I put aside for you here. And this one, like I said, I'm still tracking down one more in particular, but I think you're going to be happy with what is the surprise here. If you explode, then you won't be able to enjoy it. If you explode, you won't be able to enjoy it. Oh my god! She just laid on the floor. Like I said, I already told your mom what it is, and let's just say it is paid for. I am waiting for it. Matter of fact, let me do the tracking on it. I'm about to do the tracking on it. I hate how they don't just send you to the USPS here to do the tracking. They always want to do some garbage. Okay, so it hasn't completely shipped as of yet. April 30th was just Thursday, so yeah, they haven't given us full tracking as of yet. But yep. Why is Lils laughing? And Lils don't like I said, it's like when I send the next shipment to you guys, it's like you gotta share. But what the surprise that I got is worthwhile. So it's like over dramatic beating. she yes, I tell you, you will like it. I have already confirmed that you don't have it already, so it's something that's brand new to you, and it fixed and will fit in the Beanie Box of comics. Therefore, you do not have to gather your Beanie Five to come and try to break in my comic book vault to get it from me. It's like I poked her. It was like, bees, you still alive? Oh well, if she could blow, she won't be able to read nothing. She said, "I don't." It's like, I don't know. Ask me again in 5 minutes. I don't know what's going on with the dog upstairs, but it is what it is here. She just barking and barking and barking and barking. I guess they're playing up there. But anyway, and now she's laughing. Okay. But getting back to the topic at hand, but those are the types of things that I do here. What I just mentioned about the surprise for Beanie and everything. It's like I do stuff like that when I complete collections and stuff to that matter too. It's like I rather help other people complete their collections, but it really depends on the type of collector that you are. I do upgrade some of my issues and everything. I guess, I guess, I guess, I guess the dog wants me to come upstairs, and I know I'm in the middle of my live stream, so I can't do that. Bork, bork, bork. Mork, 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 mork. I'm now up here thinking Swedish Chef. Thanks a lot. What did you just notice? What did you just notice here? Oh, that might help. I did not realize that my Photoshop was still going. So yeah, that probably was causing some of the burping. How the actual fuck do I not have your number? That I don't know. That I don't know. But then again, it's like Facebook Messenger has been kind of like the means of text anyway. So it's been what it been. So I'm not even going there here. But saying all that to say, yeah, y'all are being hilarious today. But saying all that to say, y'all are having too much fun. But saying all that to say, it really depends on what type of collector you are. Usually, like I said, when you complete a collection, it's like there's nothing else for you out there unless you find another series. Like a collector always collects something. So it's like the hunting aspect is still within you, but it's just for me, it's just more along the lines. It's like, yeah, it slows down to a crawl unless there's like some other major key series that I have to like really like buy right then and there. But Parallax said, it's like this has been a good time to buy books to complete runs of stuff here, especially if it's not a key book. I mean, look at what I did with like the Spirit. All of a sudden, it's like, who would have thought I would have be like 4 issues away from having all of the Spirit magazines. The magazine format Spirits are hard to come by, but then again, I'm not doing like the Sunday comics version of the Spirit, which I know my good friend and artist friend John Celestri has, and he paid really some good money to have those omnibuses of Sunday comics where they were like the original published Spirit stories. But it is kind of like what it is for that aspect here. But I'm happy with the kitchen sink comics. I got all the DC run. And the reason I'm happy with the DC run because Darwin Cook did volume 1 of the DC run, which means that the actual artwork looks similar to what it was back then, unlike how how it is now up under Dynamite. That was one of the reasons why I didn't want to collect the Dynamite run, because the artwork was so different. They try to modernize the artwork, and for me, Danny Colt doesn't work very well up under modern art style. It has to be kind of like Eisnerish. The expressions and everything is what made Spirit what it is. And that's kind of like one of the things that I could say, as a collector, when you start reading all of these different genres of books here. When you go from reading like a Wonder Woman to like a Modesty Blaze, then jump over to like a Will Eisner Spirit, and then you jump over to something, some type of manga series. All those artworks is very, very different, and they have a different feel art wise, but it tells the story so much clearer in the art style that it was intended for. So when you get into like the more realistic drawings of the Spirit stories, it loses something. It loses something when you have Ebony Brown depicted in a more modern style, as opposed to what it was back in like the 1940 style. It doesn't work the same. Granted, people are not, as if I could say, people nowadays are overly sensitive, because Ebony Brown was done more like a caricature for back of where the day that it was created in. But when they modernize something, it doesn't fit. It doesn't fit here. It just doesn't work the same way. And she sent me 3 pictures of books that she's ordered. So that tells me, it's like, here, go over to Facebook. Look at these pictures. And when I finally go over to Facebook, the first thing that I see is Don the Dealer. Don the Dealer's face on my screen. With his so-called story. $57 of the books that she ordered. I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to show the list here. I didn't have an extra copy of issue number 2 of Countdown Arena, but I do have a full run of that. I didn't have another Aftermath number 5. Aliens Predator, Sampler, Flash Gordon, Mad Cave. Nope. Jill and the Killers. Oh, Oni Press. I haven't read anything from them. Gun Honey Double Down. Psytech, Mega Man, Scrapper, Shadow Hunter, the new Spidey and His Amazing Friends, Sister Mercy 1 and 2, Victory, World of Archie 2026 Free Comic Book Day. Street Fighter Forever, that's an interesting book. You're probably going to like that one. If I remember if that's the same book that I remember, yeah, you would definitely like what happened there. Stitch, Best Food Ever, okay. And there's Stitch from Dynamite, Free Comic Book Day. So she got some of her Free Comic Book Day stuff too. Starkweather. She got the first 5 issues of that. Okay. I'm not going to show what people. Yeah. No, now she said you could show them. Okay. Fine. I will show them. I will show them. So this was the part of the list that I was looking at here. So this was the list that I was looking at here. So I was looking at that. I was saying to myself, I was like, I don't have an extra issue number 5 where I could have saved you like $3 on that. Same thing for Arena number 2. I know I have a full run at that. I know I have a full run of 4 Horsemen. Alien Predator, Planet of the Apes, new, brand new. Atomic Toy Box. Bad Girls, I don't know. Like some of these, it's like, yeah, the Next Level Sampler Edition, Free Comic Book Day. All this is Free Comic Book Day, Free Comic Book Day, Energizer, Energon, Free Comic Book Day, Matt K, Free Comic Book Day, Garfield, all the Free Comic Book Day stuff. And then Ghost Station, I don't know. Gun Honey, Double Down, that's Free Comic Book Day. A lot of Free Comic Book Day stuff. Jim and the Holograms, My Little Pony, Free Comic Book Day. Jill and the Killers, I have no idea what that is. Mediterranean, I have heard of that. Haven't really delved into it. Have no interest in reading it. Mega Man, Free Comic Book Day. Sci-Tech, have no idea. Scrapper, I know that you love that story, so it is what it is. Yeah, and discussed with Aaron Dum the Dealer with his Church of Batman. Bullshit. Yeah, see, he is a devout follower of Batman. He has Batman love. I will admit that, but he's not one of those. He's not a member of the Church of Batman where I can't stand him. He's a good fine comic book collector that just happened to be a part of the Church of Batman. Free Comic Book Day is Monday at 10 a.m. midtime. Okay. I will I will when they arrive here. Really? Why don't you just call it Gotham City Sirens Bad Girls? Now, when we say Bad Girls, we talk about the original Gotham City Sirens. We're still talking about Ivy, Harley, and Selena, right? Because if that's the case, why didn't they just call it Gotham City Sirens? Yeah, Scrapper is Blade Runner, but not boring and with donkeys. Yeah, it's more anime style in there. Okay. Oh, was this one of the Amicom? Was this one of those Amicom books here? Because now you got me kind of thinking that it probably is. Let me see here. Hold on. So now she got me doing research for you guys here live on the chat here. Oh, I okay. This is not really anime style. Well, I'm not certain if you remember the Cartoon Network cartoon series 16. It's more of that style. It's more of that style. It's more it's cartoonish, but it's more like 16 cartoon style. Almost harking back to like almost like I want to say almost like late mid 1980s Pink Panther type style. Yeah, it is cartoon. It is cartoony, like how 16. It's almost like how 16 was for Cartoon Network. And I'm not certain. Well, I think people remember the show 16 on Cartoon Network. That's too small of a picture. Yeah, that should work. That should work here. The reason I stopped everything because I wanted people to see this. That's this art style that Bad Girls is like. 16. That what it reminded me. Initially, it's like, oh, it's done in this style, not necessarily anime-ish, but is cartoony and more in this style. And they're like, no, it's not. It's like, yes, it is. It does come off a little bit like that here. So just a 5-issue run here. I could get all 5 from this store for what, $25? No, yeah, 5 times, no, 20. Yeah, 5 times 4 is 20. 20 before tax. It's like, yeah, okay, I might think about it. If only those pictures I will pick up. Yeah, okay. But it is what it is here. But that's what that's what the art style reminds me of. And if I'm wrong, Parallax, you'll be like, no, it doesn't look like that, but it does. It really does. What that art style reminds me of for Bad Girls. I'm sorry, I couldn't play. I can't play. Oh, she want me to play the victory tune. She want me. Okay, it's like I can't play the victory tune. Okay, fine. We play the victory tune. But I believe most people don't remember that series as a whole, 16. But that was like one of a few things here. Yeah, it looked like that and clone high art style. Yeah. Yeah, but 16 was like a short-lived Cartoon Network TV series that was very popular during that time too, in the early 2000s. It was about, it was always about this group of teens that always hanged out at the mall. It's like the one blind had a job at the juice bar that's there, and they had all these different adventures and everything. So it was interesting. It was interesting nonetheless here. And then they had another spinoff show. I forgot what the spinoff show was, where they tried to be more adult with it. So it's kind of that's when I saw the look of the book, it's like it reminds me of that. It reminds me of this TV show. But then again, that's me trying to cross genres again. And like I said before, in many different discussions and topics dealing with why things that are brought up and been optioned does not necessarily mean that people come back over to the source material, because it's just that way. Like, if you are a movie goer and you like watching movies, you rather go and watch the movie. You're not going to take time to go and read the actual comic book that the movie was based off of, unless you're just that diehard of a fan. So, when people want to spec on books to say, oh, because the movie is coming out, the issue number one is going to go through the roof. It's like, yeah, that's a flawed plan. It may go through the roof, or people may be willing to pay more money for it because it's now popular amongst the current readers, but you're not gaining any really new fans of the comic book series. It's just not happening here. Now, I know how people kept saying, it's like, well, why can't they give comic books out at the movie theater? It's like, for the price of a ticket, you get it's like, if you go see a Punisher movie, how come you're not getting a Punisher comic book coming in or coming out of the movie? Mainly because what's in the movie is not in the comic books, to be quite honest with you. And when you truly think about a lot of the comic book movies that are based upon comic book stories, let's take in consideration of what X-Men #2. X2 was a combination of God Love Man Kills, a little bit of Yuriko story, because they had Lady Deathstrike up in it, and it was just a mixture of so many different stories. And then it was a poor man's entry into the Phoenix Saga, which had no relation to what actually happened in the books. So even if it have like gave away Love Man Kills to the movie audience that went to see X2, they will read the book and be like, none of this stuff happened in the movie. So you have to be more of a one to. I can't say that, because the movie that had the biggest one-to-one relationship between comic and movie, which was Watchmen, failed. Even with a lot of stuff that was in V for Vendetta, they stripped out a lot of the stuff that was in V for Vendetta to make it palatable for people to watch on the screen. I said before, it's like the book V for Vendetta actually talked about genocide. Genocide actually happened in V for Vendetta. That was one of the things that was missing in the movie, because Mr. Finch never had the acid trip, because he actually went back to the that the corporation had, and he took acid to kind of calm his nerves. And when he took acid, he actually showed regret about the genocide that happened. So that was a lot of things that was not done in the V for Vendetta movie that was done in the actual comic book series. But I don't believe people who love the V for Vendetta movie would go back and read the book to know specifically why certain things happened the way that it did. And if they read that part, they would not understand why it had to be stripped out. I knew exactly why it had to be stripped out, because people that early 2000 audience, I would say mid 2000 audience, would not understand the implications of something like having something like that in the movies here. People would be too overly sensitive in the bigger scheme of things here. So when you have moments like that, it would not set very well, even though that was the universe that the story was truly set in. That was the whole thing about I can't even think of his name, the television personality, about him having the Torah, and how the eye broke in and arrested him because he had the Torah. He had a copy of the Torah, and that was actually against the law. Now, the movie didn't explain why it was against the law. The actual comic book series did. The one thing that I actually liked was how V killed the head doctor at the concentration camp. That was kind of spot on because she was the only one that really gave him mercy. She was out of all the people that he took vengeance on, she was the only one who helped him and really did not intend any harm to him. And it was, like I said, it was just a lot of stuff they couldn't that the book could not touch upon. But that's the whole thing about when you create utilitarian worlds like that. And that was also the other thing that they did too in that movie. The movie was not set in the same time frame as the comic book was. The comic book was set in after World War III, and there was a big nuclear war, and corporations took over. There are no more governments; it's just corporations took over certain parts of the world, and pretty much once the corporations took over, there were just certain divisions that just handled certain things. Like the eye was the police, the ear was like radio television, the nose was like thing, and I forgot what the overall governing body was called off the top of my head here. But saying all that to say, reading the source material first helped me understand the movie in a different light and understand why there's certain things. Because when I was up here, it's like, well, that was not in the movie, that was not in the movie. And then I thought about it, it's like, yeah, you could not have that in the movie. You could not have this up in the movie. You could not truly talk about the letters that he got from his cellmate. No, I should say cellmate, his next door, the person who was in the cell next door, in its proper light. And all these things played a factor. And then his true identity, because they never really said who his true identity was. However, it was understood that V was a person of interest, if I could say, is that aspect here. He was not a dumb individual. He was highly intelligent, but he was a very interesting person who survived those camps. Did they get the right person to play him in the movie? Yes. But if they were going to be movie accurate, it was a lot of things that should have happened here. And I'm glad that the ending was the way that it is in the movie, because in the end of the story, Evie took over as being V. The movie made it where anybody could be V. Anybody could put on the mask and become the next V. But in the actual story itself, Evie eventually became the next V out of respect for him. But it was a lot of stuff. It was just a lot of stuff that really wasn't talked in the proper light here. And it's interesting. And it's just interesting that they chose this particular book, that particular series, to do a movie on, just like how they did Watchmen. A lot of the stuff with the comedian they cut out because you couldn't do what the comedian actually represent. for what he did and what he brought to the table, it was noteworthy. But for how he was, you just couldn't do it. You just couldn't do it. People wouldn't be ready for it. Beanie wants to know that she has something stuck between her teeth and it's annoying. Do you know how to use dental floss? Because if you could go grab some dental floss and do the shimmy, shimmy, shimmy with the dental floss, you might be able to loosen it up and get it out here. And no slimy movie either, yeah. A little bit. Oh, she got it with a toothpick. Okay. But those are the types of things that I always say with people. It's like moviegoers going to go see a movie. They're not going to go see a movie and be like, oh, now I got to go pick up a Speed Racer comic book to read the Speed Racer comic book, or. And at the thing, I don't think people who went to go see the last Speed Racer movie went back to go watch the original cartoon series. The movie was what it was. And it was, to me, it's a good sleeper hit to me. People slept on Speed Racer. Yeah, she was like, wow, that was big. Yeah, I could have saved that for later. I like, ooh, you it's like you just like your godfather. But that's just me. That's just me and how I view the difference in medium plays a factor, whether or not people go back to the source material or not. I didn't see a major resurgence of the original, 1960 Speed Racer because of the movie. We might have, maybe like, a fall season or two where they replayed it on like a Cartoon Network or one of the retro cartoons stations. But there wasn't like, everybody wasn't going back and clamoring to watch Speed Racer like that over and over and over again. The movie was to me a success, but I don't think everybody understood it or liked it because it was just too bright, too bold, and it fit the genre of the source material. Lacey Sr. has just arrived. She gave me a candy bar. What type of candy bar? Don't tell me it was a Nestle's Crunch. It's not a Nestle's Crunch. It can't be a Nestle's Crunch here. It's Snickers. Why? Because you're always hungry. Like, you're hungry here, grab a Snickers. Three Musketeers. Man, those were good in my childhood, but they just taste different. Oh, nothing wrong with a Nestle Crunch. I just don't see you being a big Nestle Crunch fan. I would be more along the lines. Yep, she probably gave you a Snickers. Why? Because you're always hungry. You're always hungry. Here's a Snickers. No, but because of my whole chocolate thing, for some reason, I just can't stomach chocolate too much anymore. My go-to candy bar now is Payday. I like the white one. No, white chocolate is not technically chocolate though, but I get it. But I get it. There's not too many peanut butter bars out there anymore. Peanut bars, yeah. There's not too many of them too much out there anymore. But then again, it's like most candy bars nowadays are just 100% chocolate, except for like Payday. Payday is caramel and peanuts, and I forgot the other one. It's almost like it's like a peanut bar. It's like a peanut bar with toffee. I forgot what the name of it is, and then the other one was more like peanut brittle. It's like a it's like peanut brittle in a form of a candy bar, in the shape of a candy bar. But payday is, I know, is caramel and peanuts. I forgot what the name of the other one, where it's like peanuts and toffee, and then you have the peanut brittle in the same thing, and peanut bar, like peanut bar and a peanut bar. But it is what it is here. So, gang, it is an hour. We went an hour for the end. So I'm going to give my East Coast people some of their Saturday be in the future here, unless you guys got other stuff you want to talk about here. So hopefully I clarify things about why I said what I said here when it comes to what happens when collecting is done. And as far as I'm concerned, it's like, the majority of what I'm trying to collect is almost gathered and being cataloged and everything. I might buy better copies of stuff that I already have, but in the bigger scheme of things, it doesn't necessarily mean that I stop comic book collecting. It's just more along the lines I just, you know, pumping the brakes a little bit more of trying to get everything 9/8 or all this other stuff. It's like, no, I just want full runs of stuff for right now, where I could go back and read it and enjoy it and take it for what it's worth here. But outside of that, it's like, enjoy what you're reading, or enjoy the artwork for what it is. But never really, put yourself in a predicament where your collection takes over your finances and stuff like that. Never have that to happen here, because there's so much other stuff in life that needs your attention, such as food, shelter, electricity, communications, heck, even cable TV. You never know. But on that note, it's time for me to say, live life, grow, and be well, and we'll be out of here for this week here. My East Coast people, enjoy the last 15 minutes of your Saturday. Everybody else, enjoy the rest of the Saturday. Go out, have fun. If you're going to hit the town tonight, be responsible. And until then, see ya. And we are out. Bye.